Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thank you so much for joining in. Very delighted to be here, delighted to be doing this broadcast, and just so happy that others are joining in live, and I know that others will watch this. And why am I so happy? Well, first of all, I consider the teachings of Bruno Groening to be very good news. And I use that phrase very specifically, good news, because that's what the word gospel means. That's what it's written that Jesus said. He said, I've come to give people the good news. Didn't say the word gospel. He didn't speak English, but then what does gospel mean? It's from an old English word that literally means good news. So what is the good news that Jesus came to share with us and that Bruno Groening came to remind us? And also, let's be really crystal clear. Bruno Groening was very crystal clear that what he was teaching was, well, here's what he had to say on the matter. I do not know much. I only know what other people today no longer know. But this is not my teaching, but solely and alone the teaching of Jesus Christ. So, as I read that, I'm both simultaneously very happy and I kind of cringe a little bit because the things that I was raised with and taught, this is the teaching of Jesus Christ, was a very scary thing. A punishing God, a vengeful God, eternal damnation. It was really a horror show, is basically how I was raised, being taught what the teaching of Jesus Christ. It didn't sound like good news to me. And I don't believe that the message I was raised with has really anything to do with those parts of the message, have anything to do with what Jesus taught. And so, what did Bruno Groening teach that we could call good news? Well, first of all, that nothing is incurable and nothing is impossible. How about that? Said even more plainly, for every problem, there's a solution. And that solution is God, a higher power, a force, love, life, being itself. That there is this thing that is infinitely good and cares about us and is available to help us. And that for every problem we face, it is bigger than our problem. So one of the simple ways of accessing this that Bruno Groening, so that's the idea, like, okay, cool, I have problems, and there's this thing, this wonderful, glorious thing, this reality that's bigger than all my problems. Like, cool, but how do I access it? Well, Bruno Groening taught us a very simple technique for taking in the divine power to literally cleanse us of all these problems. Let's see if I can find the quote I have in mind. Yes. When then the human spirit, this is, I'm taking a little bit out of context, but the human spirit can be cleaned through the divine power. Sorry, it wasn't as epic. The quote didn't quite fit, but what he said is that we can be cleaned through this reality. God is constantly sending this energy that we can take in and be cleansed through. So let's take it in now. Bruno Groening gave very simple instructions for how to do this. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards. Back, not stiff, but not slouched over. in a relaxed, upright position, if possible, not leaning against your chair. But if you need to, that's okay. Just do the best you can. And then please close your eyes and hand over all burdens, all worries, all sickness. All these things Bruno Groening said are actually just different forms of evil. They're all just they're all just yuck and filth that we don't want and we don't have any need for. Handing them over, they don't belong to us, Bruno Groening said. Handing them over and trusting themselves and trusting these problems to God or entrusting the problems to a spiritual helper such as Bruno Groening. And then think of something that makes you joyful, something that makes you smile. I saw a beautiful sunrise this morning. That makes me smile. And then begin to observe your body, having the will, the intention to take in this good energy and to be cleansed and freed from all evil. Noticing what you feel while having this very sacred intention to take in this energy and to free ourselves from everything not good. Noticing what you feel. Taking in the good. We've handed over our burdens. Now receive something back in their place. Really taking in the good and filling up. Welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining in. We're all around the world, and yet we're connected by this technology, but we're also connected by our intention. And then, of course, right now there's 9 of us live here, and of course, then people will watch this in the future. But all around the world, there's thousands, if not, who knows, maybe tens of thousands of people right now tuning in. And then right now, all around the world, There's millions, if not hundreds of millions of people reaching for the good, reaching for God through prayer, through meditation, through service, through contemplation. So I feel very happy to be part of the great divine work. So a really interesting question is, can I handle my problems? Another way to say it is, do we need God? Here's what Bruno Groening had to say on the matter. Bruno said, "Give me your illness, give me your worries. You can't deal with them. I'll bear them for you. My back is broad." Wow. Give me your illness, give me your worries. You can't deal with them. I'll bear them for you. My back is broad. Bruno Groening also said, we cannot raise ourselves or exalt ourselves. Only God can do that. So, if I have any kind of burden or problem in my life, that means I've done evil and taken on evil. The question is, can I free myself from evil? Bruno Groening says no. All around the world says yes. Now it's true. If I have a flat tire, I can fix it. If I have a broken shoelace, I can go to the store and buy another shoelace. And when I've taken on a spiritual malady, a spiritual illness, meaning taken on evil, and then the physical illness is just a symptom of the spiritual illness of evil, then I need a spiritual solution. Herbs and supplements and changing my diet, all very good, but they're not going to free me from evil. And things that I do, I try and eat a healthy diet, and I like to take some herbs, and when I feel called to, some supplements, but they're not going to solve the fundamental problem. Bruno Groening says, for that we need God. Why? Well, because the reason we have evil is because we left God. And then the solution is God. And that's not to say that we won't be guided to acupuncture, or even to see a doctor, or to read this book, or to go on this pilgrimage, or to make this and such change to a diet. And let's keep really clear what the ultimate solution is, or as Bruno Groening said, that God is the supreme physician. So let's spend some time reflecting on this. Again, Bruno Groening said, well, he also said, being connected, joined, linked, united with God, that is everything. And earlier, what I read is, give me your illness, give me your worries. You can't deal with them. I'll bear them for you. My back is broad. If we have an illness, if we have worry, those are symptoms of evil. Evil is a spiritual illness and needs a spiritual solution, such as a helper, such as Bruno Groening, or God, the supreme physician. Spend a little time taking in the good. observing the body. Hug received and returned, Melanie. Thank you. So, if your mind works like my mind, and there are thoughts like, but what about, and if God is all good, then why this and why that? There's many reasons. I want to say excuses, but it's just there's many reasons to doubt God, or people have come up with many reasons. Let's to say there are many reasons make it sound like they're legitimate reasons. Let's be very clear. People, or more likely evil acting through people, have come up with many reasons to doubt God. The solution, because in the age-old question is, why do bad things happen to good people? Which is a fancy way of saying life doesn't seem fair. So the question is it true that life isn't fair? If life isn't fair, then God isn't in charge of everything. Yet Bruno Groening said the exact opposite. He said, only have faith. The state of the world is also steered by God. Only things that serve as a lesson for human beings are allowed to happen. But believe me, the good will triumph in the end. So not only are things fair, not only is God involved in everything, and not only do things only happen if they serve our learning. And this is spiritual learning, not just learning of information. But Bruno Groening was adamant that the good will prevail. So not only is life fair, but as they used to say, the good guys will win. The good guys and gals. The good will win. The good team, team good, will prevail. So I'm not judging anyone for doubting God. I have, as I go through my day, I have less than perfect faith. I'm growing and learning too. And let's, um, what's our bottom line? I think the bottom line that Bruno Groening taught is that God is good and life is fair. There's many other pieces that then are built on top of that, but that fundamentally life is life. Well, it's interesting that I would say that because Bruno said, Leben, Gott ist Leben. God is, and Leben means life, existence, animation, the moving, animating principle that moves things, is fundamentally good and trustworthy. And that good will overcome evil. So maybe all of these are different ways of saying the same thing, that God, life, Leben, love, is trustworthy, will prevail, is just, loves us, only allows things to happen to serve us. What's the worst? It's the worst feeling to be suffering and to think, I'm suffering for no reason. It's the worst feeling because you're already suffering and then you feel like you're just trapped in a meaningless, miserable world. Whereas when we have burdens and problems and pain, we can say, oh, I don't like this, and I trust this is a lesson. Literally, this is something that God is allowing to happen for my benefit. And please let me learn from it so I don't have to go through it again. What if, and Bruno Groening, what if all of this is a giant school, a divine school, and God's in charge of every atom, every particle, much less everything that happens to us? In essence, that's what Bruno Groening said, that this world, this life here on earth is a school, and that only things that serve as a lesson are allowed to happen. So let's sit with this view, this world view of life as a school that's directed, that every moment is directed by God. Hmm. Observing the body. Just try it on and see if it fits. Try it for a minute or an hour or a week. That everything that happens is in service to our spiritual learning and growth, especially things we don't like. I'd like to thank everyone for joining who watched live and everyone who watched this video. If you're new to this channel or topic and would like to know more, please see my website, www.thehealingstream.org. So let's close by thinking of someone who could use a little extra energy or needs some divine help and asking this energy to flow to them. And let's ask for the world as a whole, for every living thing on it, and for Mother Earth herself. Let's dedicate our lives to serving life, to serving love, to serving God. And from that place, then we can ask, please, God, remove whatever particular burden. Remove this burden so I can better serve life, so I can better serve your creation. As St. Francis said, make me an instrument of your peace. A beautiful prayer I love says, please, um, please take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help. It's not just, God, heal me. It's, God, heal me so I can do good works, so I can do more good works, hopefully. Thank you so much for joining in. I wish you a glorious day full of good energy, faith, and faith in life itself, and going out and serving life. Take care. Much love. You're welcome, Melody.